to get a code. Oh, wait, it's actually...
We're live now.
We're streaming.
Fabulous. Wonderful, wonderful.
Well, I guess I didn't need the code. I don't know how that happened. Well, this is wonderful. So we're still waiting for Miley. I'm sure she'll be back. Anyway, welcome to New Ambassadors Lab number 47. 47 labs, yay. Bi-monthly laboratories for our resident playwrights to hear their work read. And it's a very important part of the process, so that your feedback is really important. We look forward to it. Without further ado, I want to introduce Jennifer Downs, one of our playwrights and actresses, and she's got a few messages for you. Jennifer.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, just a couple of housekeeping items. Just welcome, first of all, to New Ambassadors Theater Lab. We are a 501c3 company. If you're not familiar with us, please check out our website or our Facebook or our Instagram to get more familiar. But this is our lab series where we read works in process, and then we give live feedback to the writers and help them along in that writing journey. Also, for what's going on with us currently, we have 1 week, exactly 1 week left of Blurring Boundaries 2021, which is our festival, which was filmed live in the West End Theater on the Upper West Side. We had the actors live in person and we filmed it, and it's now being presented online, so you can stream it anywhere, that beautiful in the theater feeling. Please check it out. You can find that again on our website, on our Facebook, on our Instagram, and you have 1 week left. It is pay what you can, pay what you will. So any donation will get you access to those 6 new works. And I think that's it. And with that, I'll toss it back over to you, Mark, for our host.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Jennifer. So this is the way this works. We have 3 pieces tonight, 3 plays, 3 segments of plays, or 3 pieces complete in and of themselves, or perhaps parts of a larger piece. They will tell you, the playwrights will tell you. And so what we do is we have the playwright introduce him or herself, tell you a little bit about the piece if they wish, and introduce the cast. At the end of which we have a feedback session. And it's very important that you pay close attention and give generous feedback, because that's the purpose of this laboratory, is to give playwrights an idea of your thoughts on what you just heard and saw. Okay, so without further ado, let me introduce Evan Edwards, who's going to introduce his cast and tell you a little bit about his piece, if he so wishes. Evan.
Thanks, Mark. So I have a new piece today. It's called Platonic Affairs. I don't think there's much you need to know, because we're starting at the top of the show. It's a brand new piece. It's not finished yet. So there will be more to come. For now, we have our actors. Let's see, we have stage directions by John Pena Griswold. Yay! And we have Sean Yakamura, played by James Berkeley. Tristan Pierce is played by Andrew Griffin. And then we have Tim Miller, played by Alex Harris. And with that...
And Robert.
Oh!
How did you forget this strong Nigerian?
Yes, we had a bit of a casting emergency. And I totally forgot. And David Michael Kirby has lovingly agreed to step into the role of Robert Umaru, who should be a Nigerian American. So we thank him for lending his talents, and we do not fault him for traversing that boundary today. You're welcome. Thank you. All right. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to John Pena Griswold for stage directions. Enjoy.
Platonic Affairs by Evan Edwards. Setting: a room in the Hotel Niagara Resort and Casino. Time: the night before the wedding. A half hour before the show begins, the actor playing the character of Tim should be seen doing the various jobs associated with the opening of the house. He should be the ticket taker for a few minutes, then move on to working concessions and merchandise, then on to being an usher and handing out programs. He should be seen by as many audience members as possible. At the 5-minute call, he should make an announcement in the lobby that the show is about to start. Then he exits to backstage to get dressed to begin the show. At places, the house lights go down. Tim, now dressed in white dinner jacket, tux, pants, white shirt, bow tie, and cummerbund, enters from stage left and crosses to center. He speaks directly to the audience and plays off of them.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new Ambassadors Theater. I'm Tim Miller. Yes, you can clap for me. Thank you. You're too kind. At tonight's performance of Platonic Affairs, the recording of or capturing of images from the show is strictly prohibited. Please take this time to turn off your cell phones and put them away. And for that one old school holdout, please put away your camcorder. I mean, come on. I can see that little red light from here. Stow it away before we begin the play. Or maybe I should say before the play commences, because we're not starting at the very beginning. What story does? Think about it. If the story is about a person's life, we don't see their entire life. We see a slice of it. Sometimes we get a smattering of beginning. It was a dark and stormy night on the eve that I was born. But after they're pulled from their mother's womb or cut from their mother's womb, or sometimes pulled and cut, I mean, I've heard of an episiotomy, guys, that's where the doctor goes down there and starts hacking away to make the hole bigger. When I found that out, I was so glad my taint isn't a... Sorry, ma'am. I don't mean to offend. Anyway, after the person is born, the story skips to where it gets good. Take the musical Oliver, for example. Poor little guy. He's an orphan in a workhouse. How he got there, that's not important. What's important is that he's an orphan in a workhouse, so the story starts from there. Or how about Cassette from Les Mis? She's born and then disappears until she's old enough to start noticing boys, especially the handsome Marius. And speaking of raging hormones, there's Spring Awakening. Did you see that one? Dark and angsty, a bunch of horny teenagers running around at a private school trying to get laid. Spoiler alert, they do. And then the back wall of the stage opens and they all transcend. Their life before that is only relayed in exposition.
He looks to the back of the audience.
Oh, come on, man. I still see that little red light. You've got me up here talking about musicals, and this isn't even a musical. You have plenty of time to turn off the camcorder. So you know what? We're going to wait until you put it away. Everyone turn around and stare at camcorder guy.
He stands there with his arms crossed, staring at the furthest spot in the audience for a while.
We good? Great. Thank you. Peer pressure. It works every time. Okay, moving on then. Tonight's play takes place at the upscale Hotel Niagara Resort and Casino. It's not too shabby because Tristan, the bougie biatch, wouldn't be caught dead in anything lower than 3 stars, yet not too expensive because Robert, the tightwad, wouldn't pay for anything above 3 stars. It's a nice compromise. Maybe the last one they make. I think I said too much. Anyway, please take a moment to locate the nearest exit and also unwrap your candies. All that crinkling sets my teeth on edge. Now sit back and enjoy Platonic Affairs.
Tim exits. Lights up on a hotel room. The decor is nice and slightly upscale. The entrance to the room is downstage right with a closet next to it. There's a bed against the stage left wall and a set of windows with floor-length drapes upstage center. The bathroom door is just off center of right. Between it and the closet is a desk with a high-backed wing-back chair. The door opens and we see Robert.
Shall I carry you over the threshold, Mr. Pierce?
Tristan breezes by him.
I guess not.
And this is your room.
I still don't understand why we have to have separate rooms.
Because you can't see me before the wedding.
Why not?
Because it's tradition.
That doesn't make any sense.
Of course it does. The groom can't see the other groom before the wedding or something awful will happen.
Okay, that's what's confusing me. You wanted to get married in Niagara Falls, the most stereotypical place on the planet to get married, and now I can't see you before the wedding because it's bad luck?
You don't seem confused to me.
However, when I asked you to marry me, you went on a tirade about not being traditional.
I did not.
You did too.
Robert Umaru, I did not.
Tristan storms away and stares out of the window. Robert throws his hands in the air in defeat. Tim enters dressed as a concierge carrying a luggage, addresses the audience.
Hey guys, remember me? Tim? Yeah, well, I forgot to mention I'm actually in the story. Kind of.
After Tim sets the luggage down, he stands holding his hand out, waiting for a tip.
I think your memory is clouded. You were overcome with emotion because I didn't say yes right away.
Exactly. You didn't say yes right away, but I remember what you did say.
How? Emotionally clouded memory.
Okay, this could go on for a bit. Maybe I can help clear it up quickly.
Tim makes a physical gesture and the lights go out. A spotlight hits Tristan and Robert, who is down on one knee holding an open ring box. Tim, amazed at what he did.
That was a kick-ass trick. I wonder what else I can do.
You want to get married? You want us to follow some archaic, misogynistic, heteronormative tradition? We're not traditional. I mean, who's going to wear white? Which one of us is sexually unsullied? It's not me, not after last night. And since you were there with me, I know it's not you either. Besides, standing up in front of our family and friends and pledging to be faithful, it could get awkward. Felipe is going to be there. The two of us bumped uglies just last weekend. How do you think the church will feel about that? Do you really think you could get someone to bless this unholy sexualized union? And if you do find a person to officiate, who's going to wear something blue? Who's going to mash the glass? Who's going to bring the dowry of goats? If this is what you really want, I will help you make it happen. Give me the ring. I'll hold it on my ring finger on my left hand just until you get all the details worked out, including asking my mother's permission. And just so you're aware, I'm allergic to goats.
Tim comes into view, addresses the audience.
Goats? Really? So you can see Tristan Pierce is just a little different, to say the least.
He repeats his gesture and the scene resets itself. Tristan and Robert move to their previous position and freeze.
Why are you all looking at me funny? Tristan's a straight up mess. You don't know that yet because we're in the middle of the story. But I told you that was going to happen, and I gave you all the exposition, so shit, I forgot the exposition. That damn camcorder guy threw me off my game. Okay, I don't think I can leave them hanging like this forever. I'll have to fill you in on a need-to-know basis. Right now, all you need to know is that I'm Tim, which you know, and I'm Robert's first fiance, which you didn't know. And I'm dead.
Tim repeats his gesture and the scene resumes.
It's my prerogative to change my mind.
The saying goes, it's a woman's prerogative to change her mind.
We are past the odds. It's anybody's prerogative to change any damn thing they want.
Okay, I gotta give him props for that. Oh, don't worry, they can't hear me.
Let me ask you this. How do I trust that you'll take care of me? Like I want to be taken care of? If you can't even remember what I say? Or when I exercise my prerogative?
You're marrying this?
I beg your pardon?
You're carrying this to the other room, or am I?
Oh my God!
At least I thought they couldn't hear me. I'm kind of new at this, so anything's possible.
Am I in a parallel universe where nothing makes sense? It's your job to carry the bag, so just do it or Robert's not giving you a tip.
Tim grabs some luggage.
Yeah, I knew that would get you moving. Now let's go to my suite.
Your suite? I thought you only had a room.
If I only had a room, there would be no room in the room for all the things I need room for.
See? Mess.
I didn't agree to pay for a suite.
You can't deny me this. It's my wedding, for Christ's sakes.
It's my wedding too.
I'll let you know when Felipe gets here.
Perfect.
Tristan exits.
That way I can prepare myself for the tsunami of glitter.
Tip the man, Robert!
Robert takes his wallet out and hands Tim a tip.
I have to go, but don't worry, you'll be seeing a lot more of me.
Looks at the
Robert.
money.
Hey, Robert's not so cheap after all.
Tim exits.
This is supposed to be a happy, joyous occasion, and my shoulders are up to my ears.
He breathes in deeply and exhales even more deeply.
Nice hot shower might be just what I need.
Robert takes off his shirt, then walks over to the closet and takes out a hotel robe and walks back over to the bed. He slides off his pants and slips on the robe. He wiggles out of his boxer briefs, throws them on the bed, and exits into the bathroom. When we hear the shower running, the high-backed desk chair swivels around, revealing Tim.
See? Told you I'd be back. Robert takes pretty quick showers, so I'll try to answer your most burning questions first. Yes, I'm dead. Compliments of a texting driver. I was on my way to City Hall to marry Robert when I met my tragic end, hence the getup. But just like the stories you see or hear without a beginning, there really isn't an end either. There's an afterlife, cue spooky music. You see, Once energy is created, it can't be uncreated. That's basic physics. And it takes a whole lot of energy to create human life. Okay, maybe not for some of us. I'm looking at you, camcorder guy. I can tell you just lay there and sweat. But even if you don't exert energy doing the nasty, the sperm still has to swim by wiggling their little tails all the way up and into the egg. Imagine if you moved like that, how much energy it would take you just to walk to the bathroom. So we're all energy, and we're all here to learn a lesson, sometimes big, sometimes small. When we've mastered that lesson, we leave the energy container, the body, and get upcycled into a new container. Easy. Unless you don't learn your lesson and then you just get recycled. Like you come back as a cockroach or something. I was in the process of being upcycled, I hope, when I got pulled back here without a container, a body. Apparently I have to help someone with their lesson. Between you and me, it has to be Robert. I mean, he told me I will never love anyone who comes after you as I lay in a coma. Yeah, Robert, I heard you say that. But as soon as the plug was pulled,
The shower turns off.
oh crap, he's done. I got a bolt. I'll tell you more later, promise.
Tim swivels back around as Robert comes out of the bathroom in a towel. He's lightly humming to himself. He goes over to his suitcase and opens it up, takes out a pair of jeans and a t-shirt and slips them on. And no, he's not wearing any underwear. He starts to unpack when the door bursts open, revealing Felipe, being played by Tim, bundled up completely and wearing sunglasses.
Alex?
Felipe?
Alex, you're also Felipe.
Sorry, just realizing that. Hey, Clint, I'm here.
You know I hate it when you call me that, so please don't.
Fine, whatevs. No need to get cunty about it.
Really, Felipe? Choose another word.
Robert goes back to unpacking.
Okay, I choose fetch.
Of course. Tristan's best friend would choose a made-up word from a movie about girls being nasty to each other.
There you go again, being fetchy.
You can't just put a Y on the end of a word to make it descriptive.
Airy, bumpy, hungry.
Anyway, that word is only used in conjunction with a dog or getting something.
Don't judge.
Tim addresses the audience.
You guys don't judge either. It's me again.
He takes off the sunglasses.
Tim. Being without my own body means I can inhabit anyone I want. And fetch is the only word this body could think of.
Listen, maybe you should go to your own room. I'm not feeling well.
You nervous? Went and got your sphincter all clenched? I got something that can open that right up.
Robert makes a disgusted sound and exits the bathroom. To the audience as Tim.
Philippe's upstairs may be half empty, but downstairs is doubly full.
Tristan appears in the hotel room doorway.
Girl.
Girl?
Oh my God!
Oh my God.
Tristan and Felipe run to each other and hug.
Doesn't anyone knock anymore?
Oh my God!
What's wrong, babe?
Weather, Chicago stuck.
What the hell is up with him?
Baby, I can understand you when you're crying.
Weather, Chicago stuck.
We're gonna need an interpreter. Oh wait, I'm Philippe. I speak Tristan. Girl, what happened? What's the tea? No, ma'am. That sucks ass and not in the good way.
What sucks?
Because of the weather, all the airports are closed. His mother is currently stuck in Chicago, and she, the mother, doesn't think she, the mother, will make it here in time for the wedding tomorrow.
You got all that from that? I am sorry, babe. Maybe we should postpone?
Do you know how long it took me to plan this?
No, but I know how much it costs.
We're canceling this wedding. It's over my dead body.
He said...
I understood what he said, thank you. Baby, come here, have a seat. Try to calm down.
Girl, you need a drink. I got you.
He goes to the minibar.
You, generic vodka? I don't trust it. Where do generic potatoes come from anyway?
You know, I don't drink that soda water. Felipe, go to the store and give me the good stuff. You know what I like.
Anything for you, sis.
Tristan and Felipe both look over at Robert. After a moment, Robert breaks the silence.
What? Why are you both staring at me?
I'm too distraught to do anything but drink and maybe shop.
And my ass is getting frostbite to get my Bessie some of that good liquor.
So?
That means you're paying for
Paying for it.
Fine.
He takes out his wallet and accentuates a word as he hands Felipe each bill.
Here you go.
one more.
Robert slaps another bill into his hand hard.
Ouch. Be right back. Fetch.
Felipe exits.
Who's he telling to fetch? Robert, you know I'm allergic to dogs as well as goats. There better not be any of either up in here.
Baby, I assure you, there are no dogs or goats in my room. Just try and relax. This is supposed to be one of the happiest times of our lives.
But my mother's not going to be here to walk me down the aisle.
Tristan bursts out sobbing loudly and throws himself onto the bed.
Baby, don't cry.
Tristan cries even louder.
What can I say to make you feel better? Think about it. It's not that bad. There are worse things that could happen, right?
Tristan cries even more, practically convulsing.
Oh, Jesus Christ, come on. If Felipe were here, he'd know what to say. He'd say something like, girl, your mama taught you how to walk, so walk your own damn self down the aisle.
Well, that does make sense. Felipe has a point.
Sure, let's go with that.
There's a knock at the door.
Finally, someone being polite.
Robert goes to answer the door. Tim appears in the bathroom doorway.
By the way, that's not me at the door. That's Sean Yakamura, Robert's best man.
There are worse things that could happen, right? I mean, I could be dead.
Don't tempt me.
Tristan gets a chill and shivers audibly.
How come they can hear me sometimes and not others? Being without a body is weird.
Robert opens the door to a completely bundled figure wearing a parka and a ski mask.
Oh my God, Sean, you made it!
Sean is the sweetest guy. Everybody likes him.
Robert grabs Sean and they hug tightly.
Right. It could be worse. I could be him.
Okay, maybe not everybody.
Oh, hi, Sean. I'm so glad you could make it here, even though my mother couldn't make it here. How did you make it here?
Sean starts to unbundle himself.
Here, let me help you.
Robert takes Sean's coat. Under the cover of him putting the coat in the closet, Tim disappears.
When I heard a storm was moving in, I canceled my flight and drove. I couldn't miss my best friend's wedding.
That's it. I just had a brilliant idea. Robert, you have to rent a car, drive to Chicago, pick up my mother, and drive back.
Tristan, it's a 9-hour trip one way in good weather.
I would do it myself, but I don't drive.
I can't make it there and back in time.
You could Uber it. That way it would only be one way from Chicago to here.
The cost would be astronomical.
It'd be the gross domestic product of a small third world nation.
Don't you just have all the answers, Sean? But here's something you don't know. What Robert feels for me has no price tag.
But
No buts. If you loved me, you would afford any cost for me.
before we make any travel decisions, let's turn on the news and see what's happening. Maybe the storm is letting up and this discussion is for naught.
Robert grabs a remote and turns on the TV, which is where the audience is. Tim's voice comes over the speaker as the weatherman.
Well, Robin, it looks like this storm is not letting up. We could be in for the first snow apocalypse of the season. In fact, this one could be worse than the blizzard of 77.
I remember hearing stories about that storm from my dad. It shut down the entire state for weeks with snow drifts a full story high. People had to climb out of their second floor windows to get outside.
Please be advised there is a severe blizzard warning for Allegheny, Cattaraugus, Niagara, Buff.
Robert switches off the TV.
Sorry, baby. Driving in this weather is not safe.
There has to be something you can do.
Having a destination wedding in the snowbelt during winter seems to have been ill thought out.
Tristan had to have his wedding on the winter solstice.
Because it's a magical time.
Tim enters as Felipe.
which is how I can be here.
Pepe, right on time to save the day. Robert refuses to have my mother driven here for my wedding.
Our wedding.
That's just rude. I guess he doesn't really love you then, does he? So glad you found out before the wedding, Tristy.
That's not fair. You can't equate love to money.
Hookers do. That's how they get their hourly rates.
No, what do you got to say, smarty pants?
So you're a prostitute.
Oh, no, you did not just call my best friend a whore.
Technically, I said prostitute.
Nuh-uh, no, ma'am.
Felipe starts to make a move to fight Sean. Robert steps in between them.
Felipe, this is my best friend, Sean Yakamura. Sean, this is Tristan's best friend, Felipe Jones.
Oh, him. Got it.
Enough with the introductions. It's the night before my wedding. Everybody should be focused on me.
That was a subtle redirection.
Where's the alcohol, Pepe? I need a shot stat.
Well, you see, Tristy, I got this good feeling about the roulette game. So I stopped by the table figuring I could double what Robert gave me so I could get the good stuff, you know.
And you lost it all.
Whatevs, don't be fetchy.
Don't you know the house always wins?
What am I supposed to do? I don't have a drink. I don't have my mama. Y'all don't just stand there. Somebody do something for me.
Wow.
Robert takes out his wallet.
Here's my credit card. Take Felipe and go get anything you want.
Anything?
Anything.
See, I knew he loved me. Come on, Felipe. We have to cheer me up.
Tristan and Felipe exit.
That Tristan is something.
Isn't he?
That's not what I meant.
You're my best friend, right?
Yeah.
Well, I need a huge favor.
How huge?
Like the hugest.
What do you want me to do? If it's put a contract on Tristan to get you out of this marriage, just say the word. I know people.
You're a computer game programmer. What people do you know?
I know ruthless killers.
World of Warcraft characters don't count.
End of excerpt.
Okay. All right. Everybody come back. Yay. Evan. Whoa. Vastly entertaining. Let's get this party started. The way we do this, folks, is at first, if you would say something about whatever it is you liked, what inspired you, turned you on, what was a popcorn moment, something that stood out for you in a big kind of way or something that you're going to take with you. And from that, we'll go on to other things. But first, let's hear what anybody's initial reactions are. Throw it up to the crowd.
So
Go ahead,
many
Jennifer.
so many in that first the pre-rewinded section of the different colors, who's going to wear white, who's going to wear the blue, all of those, like just running through those wedding tropes so quickly. That was a popcorn moment for me.
Yeah, I just the characters were so alive, and the relationships so tactile. I mean, they're really, really wonderful, and well done actors for bringing them to life. I thought, it's amazing what actors can do with even with very little rehearsal. So bravo. I love the weather Chicago. I can't, the fourth stood out for me, Tristan, isn't he something? So talk about the relationship between Tristan and Robert. Anybody want to venture into that water? No, nobody's gonna. Sure, Andrew.
Don't really see the attraction. Like if that's like Tristan's like go-to, which it seems like it kind of is, like what I want to see what redeeming side of him that would make somebody not only be in a relationship but want to marry that person. Because I mean, yeah, I get it. Like emotions are going to flare like around a wedding and everything. So I understand this is a heightened situation, and maybe this is Tristan on his worst day, under the worst circumstances for his own like mental health and everything. But I also would like to think that he's probably like this pretty much all the time. And so I want to see as the characters develop and as the story comes to fruition, what made Robert fall in love with Tristan, especially after, obviously we're only getting to see a dead side of Tim, but Tim seems to be kind of this like straight-laced everyman, probably handles things with logic and not emotion. And so it's just like, why did we go from, this to that? So
yeah, very good. How did everybody respond to the Tim character, and especially at a point in which he announced that, by the way, I'm dead? Did that surprise anybody? John?
Yeah, I really love that. I love from the get-go, even the sort of having him run concessions and all that. I think it's a really brilliant way to even elevate that fourth wall breaking narrator, which is already something that I love, and also have one that's emotionally invested yet above it is really cool. I think you can play with that for a full-length play. I really thought that Tim, and then playing different characters and then making a joke how a new character came and it wasn't being played by Tim because the audience was expecting, is this just a two-hander with one playing at all? I really enjoyed sort of the device of Tim and the character of Tim.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, no,
David?
I'm like a little jealous of the rich playground you've created here with Tim, not only being our guide and narrator, letting us in on what's going on only as needed, since he forgot his exposition, and then stepping into all the other characters. I think that's just an unbelievably exciting challenge for an actor.
Yes, James.
So addressing the difference in the two characters, Tristan and Robert. So it's kind of like the whole David and Patrick thing on Schitt's Creek, or in my case, I've been married for 30 years and I'm the eccentric, out of control, kind of crazy one. And my husband is very reserved and conservative and all that. So a lot of times the reason these characters work for me in my brain is because you're attracted to what something in someone that you don't possess. Like if someone's shy and afraid to speak, they're going to be attracted to the extrovert, and vice versa. The extrovert's going to be like someone who's got their stuff together and all like that. So I feel like these characters, a lot of people, including myself, can really relate to these characters because of that situation. So this is a heightened extreme version of that, but I believe that's how I see the characters. And also Tristan is more heightened when he's around his friends. We all have those friends that make us act differently, and I feel like that's when the play is more fleshed out, you will see that Tristan's probably very different when he's alone with Robert than he is when he's around his friends. That's what that's what I read it. That's how I saw it.
Yes, indeed. Very good. Laura?
No.
Oh, I thought you wanted to speak. Were there any moments that confused anyone? Anybody have any questions or anything that didn't quite gel or jive with that you felt was a moment that didn't quite follow? Or were there any problem areas for anybody? Or did you follow it easily enough? Did it flow? Did it have a flow for everybody? Anybody want to comment on that? Anything, Jennifer?
This isn't necessarily like a problem area for me, but it's something I'm really curious about with Tim. How much of like the arbiter is he of all of this chaos? Because it seems like so much like everything possible is going wrong. And I'm super curious because he kind of has this outside perspective. I'm so curious if he's doing it or if this is just happening and he's there to comment. But I'm really pulled along anyways, and I'm not like questioning why he's there or anything like that. I feel like he's filling these roles so naturally, and it's really, really interesting. It just keeps you going. But then in the back of my mind, I started to realize how much was going wrong. And I was like, I wonder.
Yeah, I had a question about the Tim character at first too, but when he announced that he was dead, and I got further invested. I thought it was cool and fun and charming and all playing all the different parts. But then when I realized, wow, he's got an emotional investment in this too, it became dimensional. It became three-dimensional as a character. And then it became even more fun when he played other characters, So that's how I felt about it, Evan. Yeah, James, and then John.
So the only thing that was not confusing, but which I think would be clearer when it's actually on stage and I can see it, is when they can hear Tim and when they cannot.
Mhm.
Is it like a hint of a thing, or can they actually hear him? That's more of a question for Evan, but when I was reading it, that's what I was not 100% sure of.
Right. John.
I thought there was some unfair stereotyping of the weather patterns in Western New York. That's it.
I'm
Buffalo
from
being one
Western
of
New
them?
York.
So
Those
am
are
I.
completely
You know,
fair.
Lake
Completely
effect?
justified.
Yeah,
Oh, well, yes.
you're telling on us.
Weather is stereotypical, let's face it. Well, any other comments? Would anybody else like to? Are we all met? Very good, Evan. It really was fun and provocative and really engaging. So well done, and thanks for your comments all. So I guess we can move on to our next piece, which is going to be Titans. Jen, is that okay? Or Jen, you're next. The radio sci-fi. Radio sci-fi play is scheduled next, and we're going to go with Jennifer Down's piece, Radio Sci-Fi in Space. So tell us a little bit about it and introduce your cast.
So this is a new piece. Nothing really to say about it. It'll start from the top, so hopefully it'll all be very self-explanatory. And yeah, we'll just let the actors introduce themselves and go from there. Thank you all so much.
David Michael Kirby, stage directions, and some other voices.
Okay.
Miley Binion, I'm playing Derek.
Laura McLean, I'm Captain Alcott.
Alex Harris, I'm Sam Harper.
John Pena Griswold, Joseph Bryant.
Andrew Griffin, Sykes.
Take it away, stage directions.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute. Radio by Jennifer Downs. Over black, the unmistakable hiss of booster engines disconnecting, a few beeps and a crackle of the radio, the hollow soundlessness of space. Outer orbit reached. Great work, Pythias. Will be with you until the edge.
Roger that, Houston. Systems, all systems normal. We're officially at cruising speed. We'll let you know when we're close to the rim.
Title card, radio. Interior, Pythias Command Bridge, 2065 AD. Captain Francesca Elcott taps a headphone in her ear, switching it off. She leans back with a little sigh and takes it into view. Satellites litter the inky blackness, slowly thinning out as the Pythias continues silently forward into the void. Swiveling in his chair, Sam Harper shoots a sly grin at Elcott.
Does that mean it's time to pop the bubbly?
I hope you mean seltzer, Mr. Harper, seeing as there is a zero-tolerance policy toward alcohol on my ship.
Oh, of course, Captain. Just a euphemism. Scout's honor.
I doubt you were ever a scout. I have the calm for now. Feel free to indulge in whichever beverage you think you can sneak past me.
Sam gives a playful salute and exits the bridge. We stay on Elcott as she looks out once again. She's back in her element. Interior, Pythias hallway, continuous. Sam careens down the hallway, whistling as he goes. His long limbs easily fill the passage. He stops at a doorway and leans against it. Interior, medbay, same time. Medical Officer Joseph Bryant is in a loud discussion with Natalie Varick, PhD, and pain in the ass.
That's all very well, but this is a med bay, not a guinea pig lab.
They won't be guinea pigs because I've already tested it on myself. What kind of doctor is afraid of vaccines?
Vaccines from One Nutter's basement science project to protect us from alien particles? A normal doctor, I think.
Hey, Joe, you up for a round of poker before chow time?
Don't call me Joe, and don't cheat this time. If you'll excuse me, doctor.
He leaves. Varick turns to say something as he goes, but he's already gone.
I'd invite you to the game, but I'm afraid it's no management allowed.
I'm not management, I'm a scientist.
Yeah? Tell that to CyberCorp next time you're on one of their private chats.
With that, he turns and follows Bryant down the hall. Varick lets out a frustrated sigh. She notices something that we can't see. She raises her eyebrows, then walks toward the point of interest. Interior, Pythias Command Bridge, later. Elcott is still at the command station, typing on a digital keyboard as a map moves across the screen. Jamie Sykes quietly leans against the doorway and watches as stars whiz by on the monitor and more slowly through the window.
Is there something you needed, Sykes, or are you just here for the view?
With a laugh, he slides into the seat next to Elcott.
I suppose the view.
She smiles and they sit in silence for a moment, looking through the glass. Interior, kitchen, mess hall, same time. Bryant sits down to a small metal table and begins shuffling a deck of cards. Harper rummages in a cupboard and produces a small flask. He grabs 2 small cups, swaggers happily over to the table.
Care for a parting beverage?
Captain sees that, she'll send you out the airlock.
Harper laughs as he pours a bit of dark brown liquid into each cup.
Nah, she only pretends to be a hard ass. Deep down, she's a regular Joe. And you are an exceptional Joe.
He teasingly reaches to Bryant and ruffles his hair, which Bryant immediately swats away.
Very funny.
Bryant takes the cup with a sigh and raises it to Harper.
There are worse ways to be sent out the airlock.
Bet your ass, this is a 22.
Bryant laughs, delighted. They clink and sip, each taking a moment to appreciate the liquor.
Now then.
He reaches for the deck, but Bryant slaps his hand once again.
Not a chance. I will deal. Not repeating the mistakes I made at the training center.
You can't prove I didn't come by those aces naturally.
2 of them were spades.
I told you the deck was European.
Bryant rolls his eyes and begins to deal as we cut to interior Pytheas command bridge continuous.
Can I confess something to you, Captain?
You're scared shitless?
Oh, I mean, yeah. Shit, is it that obvious?
I felt the same way on my first trip out.
Sykes self-consciously smooths his uniform, swallowing hard.
It's not that. I mean, it's an honor, but
But you're kind of wishing you just said no to the whole thing, stayed home, and were curled up on a couch with a glass of wine and a good book instead.
Exactly. Well, swap the wine for a cup of cocoa and I'm there.
Cocoa?
Yeah?
That's dear.
She waves her hand over the keyboard and the screen goes blank. She stands up, putting a reassuring hand on Sykes' shoulder.
I won't say you'll get used to it, but because I don't think there is any getting used to life out here. In fact, I think it would be dangerous if you did. But I will say, space is a whetstone. Everything out here is sharper, tougher, and more precise. You will find your purpose out here, and if you're lucky, you'll get to work every day at it. And it'll feel really, really good. Just go easy on yourself in the meantime, all right? And don't panic.
All right. Thanks, Captain.
You're welcome. Now, let's go catch those 21st century pirates in whatever shenanigans they've already gotten themselves into.
She offers her hand to Sykes and he takes it, smiling. He stands and we cut to interior kitchen mess hall later. The crew is seated around the metal table, trays of strictly health-providing food in front of them in various states of eating. Sykes is laughing a little shyly as Harper regales the table with a raucous story. Varric leans on the counter nearby and looks on, sipping a little grumpily at a smoothie, but clearly taken in by the energy.
But then he turns around, looks me dead in the eye, and says, "What did you think I meant by chest?"
Elcott moves to the table, steaming tray in hand, and sits herself next to Harper.
You are disgusting.
No, that's the point, Captain. It was a double entendre all along.
But what happened when they found you with the pay codes? Did they make you turn it over?
Every last digital penny.
Yeah, that gives me indigestion just thinking about it. How do you gain and lose 20 million in cryptocurrency in the span of one night?
With several bottles of whiskey and a very affluent criminal.
Is that what got you conscripted into the company?
A hush falls over the room. Bryant clears his throat and looks awkwardly at Harper. Sykes is shocked at the reaction.
I'm sorry, I thought everyone knew.
How we got here, while certainly useful fodder for your future autobiographies, has little to do with our mission. We have 16 hours before we reach the communication rim. I suggest you all take the opportunity to send whatever messages you'd like to to whomever you'd like to before we get there. And please, feel free not to tell me about it. Good night.
She stands, squeezing Sykes' shoulder. The crew mumble goodnights to her as she goes.
Well, on that note, I think I'll retire to my bunk so I can tell my redacteds that I redact them. You owe me another game. I know you were still cheating somehow.
I'll happily take more of your company vouchers any day.
Bryant rolls his eyes as he flicks a finger across his digital watch face. Harper's matching watch lights up with a ping.
Don't spend it all in one place.
They're company credits. I have to spend them all in one place.
Har har.
Bryant leaves and Sykes shrinks a bit into his seat as Harper turns to survey him casually.
Information is power, you know. I think that's a lesson that the communications officer would have learned a long time ago.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was a secret that you're a draft.
Oh, I'm not talking about my entrance into the biz, kid. Where exactly did you, a first-timer with next to no experience, come across such a rank-defying bit of intel? For that matter, how does a newbie end up on a mission like this in the first place, huh?
He shoots a look to Varric, still leaned against the counter.
Or should I say two newbies? A betting man might put his money on nepotism. A winning man would put his money on daddy's little angels deciding to go on a space ride.
Varric and Sykes exchange a quick look.
Sorry, I meant Angel and Seb Angel.
He stands, towering over Sykes.
And to answer your question, no, that was not what got me conscripted.
With that, Harper turns on his heel and leaves the kitchen, chuckling to himself as he goes. The siblings look at each other in silence. Interior, Sykes' room the next day. Sykes is on the floor of his room, his head against the wall next to a bedside table with a small radio. We hear the last few notes of a waltz through the small speakers. He listens, eyes closed. You are listening to WKRZ. An old jingle for Coca-Cola plays, then an ad for razors. Finally, a small record scratch followed by a whistle, then the sultry voice of a crooner. Magic Moments by Perry Como plays. Sykes smiles and sways his head slightly to the song. After a few moments, there's a crackle, then silence. His eyes open, and he quickly looks to the screen next to his door. The readout says, 2 hours to communication rim. He frowns, then turns to the radio. He tries tapping gently first, then picks it up for further examination. He adjusts the dial, and there's a sudden shriek of static. Sykes drops the radio, shocked by the sound.
Jesus!
The static stops, but a low hum takes its place. Sykes approaches the radio cautiously. As he steps towards it,
Hello?
the blood drains from Sykes' face as he takes in the sound.
Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Sykes reaches down and picks up the radio, turning it slowly to face him.
Please, I need help.
Bang! There's a loud knock on the door, jolting Sykes from his trance. Without waiting for a response, Varric opens the door and swiftly closes it behind her.
Jamie, I'd like to go over the checks for the final approach.
Varric stops, finally taking in his strange expression.
Are you okay?
Natty.
Please don't call me that. We both know it sounds derogatory.
This doesn't register for Sykes, who instead turns to the radio still in his hand. Only the hum is audible now, with an occasional crackle of static.
Jamie, seriously, are you all right?
Sykes doesn't look up. He continues to stare at the radio. The hum grows louder and louder until we cut to interior, Pythea's command bridge, later. Elcott is holding the radio gently in her hands, her brows furrowed a bit as she listens to a now extremely animated Sykes.
I heard it. Clear as day, Captain. There was a voice. A woman. She was asking for help.
To be continued.
Well, yes, to be continued. My goodness gracious. Science, not so much fiction. Really kind of gets you creepy there. What was that loud hum? What is that hum? You know? And that bang. What was that bang? And why was the woman, you have to help me. You have to help me. So, moments for anybody that stood out. Popcorn moments, things that you immediately take with you that are still fresh in your mind?
Yeah, no, I had two things that really jumped out at me. One, I love the whole space is a whetstone speech.
Yes.
I thought that was brilliant. Very, very graphic and seemed very apt. And then at the very end, the little homage, I don't know if it was intentional or not, to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, when she says, "Don't panic."
Yeah, don't panic. Cool. Yes, Ben. And then Miley.
Jen, I just want to say that your writing always ceases to amaze me. Always. And, you know, I love when you write, and I love when John writes, and I love when all of you write, you know?
Thank you so much, Ben.
Yeah.
I mean, can't wait to hear more.
Anything stand out for you, Ben? Any moment that you remember particularly, or
Just,
the whole piece?
yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Miley.
Yes, I thought the sibling reveal was intriguing, especially because when I was reading Varric, she didn't seem like as much of a newbie as Sykes. And so I wouldn't have put together that they both joined at the same time. And so I want to know more about their relationship, how they ended up here. I really thought that was interesting.
Indeed. Love the European card game. The a very nice touch.
Loved that.
Yes, Alex.
Yeah, Jenny, I think you're onto something here. I think like you built a really specific world through your dialogue, and should be commended for that. It's just like, I don't know, this popped out of your head and somehow feels so real so quickly for what you claim are early pages. But yeah, I feel like it feels very confident. The characters are all like specific to, like they fit together, but they're also clearly individuals, and a lot of that is dialogue related, I think. And I think the world is just uncanny enough and mysterious enough that I'm very on board. And maybe that's partly because of Laura's background and her outfit and her whole delivery and just vibe that she brought to it. But yeah, I think it's really worth continuing on this one and just chipping away at it, because it feels like a really interesting start.
Love the fact that the captain is a woman. Yeah, that was.
It feels. I mean, we read what, a dozen pages, maybe 10 pages.
12 pages, yeah.
Yeah, well, and one of them's like the title page. So, and
right.
It felt like there was so much more information within that limited number of pages than you just communicated so much with in a brief amount of time. And as Alex says, these are very distinct characters, and I love the elements of tension, of are these moments that are going to blow up further down the line, because they're in a very tiny space for a long period of time, and you definitely left me wondering what's happening next, where this is going, because I'm right there with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great point when you think of, outer space or whatever, science fiction. It's like a really confined space for many, many, many hours. And do they get on each other's nerves? Do they get along? What do they do for entertainment? They play cards? Do they drink? Whatever. And the tensions that arise throughout. I really see it as a series. And this is episode 1, So anything that anybody would like to ask Jennifer about in terms of maybe something that was not quite clear to you, or any confusing or any kind of question you might have for Jennifer in terms of the development of this piece and where it's headed, or everybody kind of, as Alex said, sort of Miley.
Yes, so this is not really confusion, but do you imagine it starting here?
Yeah, I definitely, I imagine it kind of starting firmly, like right at the beginning of their mission. That kind of like over the black, like I imagine kind of soundscapey in the beginning, just letting the audience know that they're going into space. Those like very distinct moments of like the hiss and all of that stuff of the boosters coming off and things like that. And then starting, boom, they're there.
I like it because it is the beginning of the mission, but it also doesn't feel, it kind of feels like you're tuning into these, because some of the people have known each other for a long time. It doesn't feel like you're starting right at the beginning. You kind of jump right into the action. And I thought that was great. And I'm just curious if it's going to be, do you imagine it being, did you say series?
I imagine it as a film. I have it kind of the story
Okay.
in my head. I think would probably last me about that long, about the length of the
Okay.
film.
That's
One
exciting. I
long
was
episode.
hoping you'd say feature length, and those were just my own personal questions, but I didn't lose the way at all. I thought it was pretty clearly fleshed out.
Evan.
Okay, first off, I would go see this movie. You had me when you're like the familiar hiss of the boosters. I'm like, I'm there. How much does this ticket cost? One thing that I wasn't sure of, and maybe I missed something, the mention of 21st century pirates.
Mm.
That kind of made me question where they were in terms of, lineage from the 21st century,
Mm-hmm.
how far they were from there, and how much would they know about 21st century pirates. That was
Yeah.
that was the only thing that I was like,
Well,
it didn't take me out.
Yeah.
It's just a wonder.
I mean, I said it was 2065.
Right.
Yeah, but
Directions, and they
it's
talk about
definitely
the Greatest of 22. So I just
yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a question whenever it's like, do you put that as like something it says like the readout 2065, or should like I kind of would like it to come a little more naturally because I'd like it to feel near future. I'd like it to feel a little more naturally from the dialogue. So that's really good to know that those kind of because that for me totally offhanded joke. So for it to then ping you as like, oh, where are we? I don't want that. I want it to feel really just like, oh, this seems like it could be very close to where we are now. So that's very, very good to know. Thank you.
Laura.
I wanted to make a point about the relationships. It's clear that Bryant and Harper know each other from a previous mission, or one or two. With the experience with, two of them with spades, I loved that. I loved the dialogue between the two. And it's clear that, Escott has been around the block. So I'd love to know, why is Sykes aboard and what happened to the guy before him? Might be very interesting to delve into that. What was the fate of the previous guy? Why do we have Sykes on board who's brand new and scared shitless? Just something to explore. Because I was curious right away about that.
Nice.
Andrew.
I kind of have, I'll just lump it all together. Love the character dynamic because I like that it's not like all these like grizzled veterans who are like just another day at the office. It's like, okay. And I'm excited to see the arc of like, what can obviously the young guy's going to learn something, but the old veterans, they're going to learn something too. And I'm excited for that arc to see what happens. I also love the idea because if it is in a near future, like the captain is probably like a teenager right now. Like, in like 2021, maybe she's just graduating high school, or maybe he's like a little older or something. And I'm a sucker for pop culture references. And so I'm excited to see them be like, oh yeah, you're just like, no, Monica from Friends. And it's like, oh wow, I didn't realize you were that old. And it's like that kind of thing or something. I really like that. And then, drat, I had one other thing, but I don't remember what it was. Anyway, I am excited to see where this goes. It's going to be really, really fun. Great work as always.
I love the
Thank
fact that the rookie had this intel. The rookie had this information, and Alex was like, how did you know that, and had to use like almost physical intimidation to say, it created a real good tension there. And so I was curious to know, how did Sykes, and what does he know that he's maybe not supposed to know? And there's going to be something that's going to come out of that. So that was well planted. Yeah. Anybody else? Anything they would like to add? Or yeah, Laura.
It's also interesting that the newbie is the one who hears the voice.
Yeah.
So I mean, we could get really deep here, and we could get into the person who's not jaded, who's not so experienced, who's still open to everything, is the one who hears the voice.
Yeah.
I find that interesting.
Very
Nice.
Absolutely. Well, I think as with any screenplay, there's so much in the description of characters and the stage directions that David Michael Kirby deserves another applauded for bringing those to life, because we have to feel that action. As good as the dialogue is, we still need to feel how that action is taking place, and you made it come alive. So thanks for that. All right, well, good. Without further ado, I guess we can move on. And let's bring up John Pena Griswold and have you introduce your piece and tell us a little bit about it, and have your cast introduce themselves.
Hi, folks. Yeah, this is a play called Titans of Industry. I'm not really sure what it is, a short or full. I don't know. I just sort of felt inspired to kind of write the scene. I normally write stuff that's pretty like premise heavy and high concept, and I just wanted to write something that sat with character and dialogue a little more, so, and ideas. So let's see what it is. People, actors, introduce yourselves.
David Michael Kirby, stage directions. Andrew, you want to change your name, character name?
Oh, Jennifer Downs reading Sharon.
And I am playing Jason. My name's Andrew Griffin.
Character's name is
You're
Mark.
playing Mark.
What?
I
What is
told
going-
David Jason. I don't know where that came from. It's Mark.
Okay, I was about to say, I was confused, but all right. All right.
I really don't know what this piece is.
I'm so excited for this. This is going to be fun. I am excited for this. Okay.
All right.
Wait, no, hold on. It's Mark with a C, not Mark with a K. The people deserve to know.
Correct. It is a C.
Nope, not a C. God. Not S Express. Look, tomorrow's my wedding day. I deserve to be a little frazzled. Let's do it.
Titans of Industry by John Pena Griswold. Sharon and Mark, drinks in hand, find their way to a high top.
I hate places that make you order from the bar.
They don't usually do that here. I think they're short-staffed.
If I wanted to walk every time I needed a drink, I would stay home, stock my own fridge, and save a shit ton.
You would miss out on all the stimulating conversation, though.
Would I?
Sharon cranes her neck.
Paul and Jason are supposed to be here, right? They said they'd be here?
Mark tries
Hey.
another method.
So I told the bartender to put your drink on my tab.
What? Why?
I wanted to say thank you for, taking me under your wing at the office.
I have?
Well, no. I've sort of nestled my way and under your wing without you noticing. And I would really appreciate it if you didn't kick me out. Everyone says the key to success in this industry is mentorship, and
We're the same age, Mark.
well, okay. Technically you're
Don't get technical.
okay, so we're the same age. But you are undoubtedly older than me when it comes to
Communication skills?
everything. Drive, vision, office politics. I've learned a lot from you.
Sharon looks around.
Oh, fuck.
What?
Paul and Jason aren't coming, are they?
No.
This isn't romantic, is it?
No.
I didn't think so, but you have to check these things. You have until the end of this one and the next one, which you are also buying.
Thank you.
And you have to get my card from the bar.
What?
They took my card at the bar, even though there's no drink on my tab. I don't like that. That card is mine and they have no reason to have it. Do you understand?
So, if this is some kind of first lesson, I'm going to have to ask you to speak in less metaphorical terms. I get what? Move. I get metaphors. I do, but oftentimes, other people seem to really get them in a way that makes me think I'm missing something. Literally most novels. I get them. I enjoy them. They're, people, interesting people doing interesting things. But then people love these novels and what they say in a way that I'm like, did I miss a chapter?
Mark, That is an extremely stupid thing that, as your new and extremely temporary mentor, I advise you never to repeat.
Sure.
But it also betrays a way of thinking that I like.
Oh, nice. Which part?
You're aware of your own ignorance. That's a start.
Nice.
So, your time's ticking. Any questions?
Oh, no, I kind of just like teach me, you know?
I need some specifics here, Mark.
Well, usually it seems like I just trip into some sort of stupid situation, like just now. And then you like eviscerate me, word-wise, in a way that, quite frankly, sticks with me for a long time. So if we could do more of that.
And this isn't a sex thing.
No, no.
You're sure?
Yes. Didn't we? I thought we covered that.
We established it wasn't a romantic thing, but your desire to be, well, eviscerated is concerning on a whole other level.
No, don't get me wrong. It's brutal. I hate it. Earnestly. Sometimes my mental health doesn't recover for a whole week, and not in like a hinky way.
I believe you.
Great. So yeah, no fun, but I learned from it. So
what do you want, Mark?
in general,
Sure.
honestly, at this point, I'm just looking for like middling success.
Why? That's it? That's as far as you've thought it through?
Well, I feel like if I pull any further on that thread, I don't know, I can hardly handle the middling success stuff. You've seen me.
I have.
So whatever's like lurking underneath that desire, I've got no shot at that. So I'm comfortable, bailing upward in my lane.
Mark, you continue to impress me.
That means so much.
I don't often get to feel impressed in a completely non-threatened way.
You're welcome.
So, I'm going to share my secrets with you. All of them. You know why?
Mutual admiration.
Because I think my secret can't be shared. I think my success is my own. It is untouchable and unknowable. I could explain it perfectly, down to the exact syllable to you, and it would be received as white noise.
Huh. Okay.
Have you ever heard of the term rubber ducking?
I've heard of rubber ducks.
Then you have the prerequisites. In the tech world, coders often work long, grueling hours on difficult problems. For many of them, this is an isolated process. A tiny percent of the population understand what their job entails, and an even tinier percent could comprehend the unique maze they've built for themselves on their particular project. They're alone, right?
Sure.
Naturally, they have the tendency for despair. They hit a wall, a bug, and completely nonsensical error that drives them mad. For this reason, some of them will keep a rubber duck glued to the top of their monitor.
For moral support.
To talk to. You see, Mark, they have no one to talk to but themselves, and that's all they need. But talking to yourself isn't a conversation, it's usually just an anxiety-ridden monologue.
Is it?
For intelligent people, yes. But if instead, when you hit a wall, you talk it out to the rubber duck on your monitor, real slow, like the rubber duck is an idiot, you'll find that the act of having to justify yourself to someone else, even a piece of rubber, lays bare your thoughts much better than turning them around in the echo chamber of your mind and hearing it out loud. You find a solution.
Wow. So that's the secret to your success?
No, Mark, that's an explanation for why I'm going to share my secret with you. You are the rubber duck in that analogy.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, okay, I see it. It's so metaphors are a bit tricky for me. Did I tell you about the novels?
Yes.
So if you could proceed, but like keep that in mind, I would be very, very grateful.
Mark, I hope to have made it clear, but I'm quickly realizing I haven't, that your comprehension is not my priority. But sure, you know what? I'll keep it in mind.
Sharon finishes her drink. Mark, unsure of what else to do, finishes his as well.
Another was promised?
Right. Right.
Mark scurries from the table. Sharon is left alone at the table. She stares ahead. Her lips move a bit. She shakes her head vigorously, not liking whatever she just said to herself. She grabs her phone to distract herself. She scrolls, reads a notice, mouths, fuck. She dials. Waits.
Hi, Lacey, it's your big sister. Sorry, I'm probably missing you, time zones and all, but it looks like you still have 10 more minutes for your birthday by my watch. Anyway, let's chat. My birthday's next month, so we know that's one call on the books. And hey, you can call me late if you want. Not that I'm late. Again, technically, with time zones. Hope you had a good day.
She puts the phone down, stares at it, flips it over, looks at her glass, takes out an ice cube with her fingers, shoves it in her mouth, crunches. Mark comes back, 2 drinks in hand.
As requested.
Sharon grabs it and drinks deeply.
Uh-oh. Really hoping this would last longer.
Excuse me?
You said I had 2 drinks.
Oh, that, right. We're still. Sure.
Mark looks at her, she stares ahead.
Got your card back.
He puts it on the table.
I didn't want to give it back. They said that there was a minimum, and I was like, technically, there's no drinks on the tab, so there's nothing to close out. They were like, nothing is well below the minimum, and so I pulled out my wallet and said, here's my other cards, and he was really confused, right? And I just started putting my cards on the bar. I have a lot of them. I almost always sign up for like when you try to buy a pair of jeans and they say like $5 off if you have a Macy's card. And so you'd have to be an idiot not to. But also my wallet is bulging and I have excellent credit, but I see other people's wallets and I know that they must be refusing these cards, which I still don't understand. But in this instance, it really, I just, kept placing them on the bar and I looked him full in the face and was like, every credit card that comes through here needs to hit a minimum, even the ones with no drinks on them, then load me up, my man. I'm pretty sure the logic of that was lost on him. He kind of seemed like he just didn't want to deal with me, but he gave me your card back, so yeah.
Why are you telling me this, Mark?
To show you, that I'm learning.
You see that as the kind of thing I would do.
Yeah.
And this helped you.
Yes.
Ask me about myself, Mark.
Oh, where you from? Originally?
No. Ask me what I want, Mark.
What do you want?
I want to kill a god.
You want to kill God?
I want to kill a god, not God, not the god.
Oh, I think the word you're looking for is demigod then?
No. The word I'm looking for is God, how I mean it, but not God, how you mean it. If you were in my head, you would understand, and frankly, I'm sick of feeling like that's my fault.
Sure. Okay, what's God in your head?
Have you heard of the Parkarians?
Is it going to be insensitive if I say no?
The Parkarians believe that concepts are gods.
Like God of water, fertility, sunshine?
This will go a lot quicker if you stop guessing.
Sorry, I'm trying to understand.
Right. Stop trying to understand. What I'm talking about isn't up there. I'm not asking you to delve into the recesses of your mind to find the file you have on this concept. You don't have it yet. Every time you try to match it up with something you already know, you're cutting yourself off from the detail you don't know yet, have the ability to know.
Okay. Damn, so not like God of water.
No, not like God of water. Water, fertility, sunshine.
That's what I... Listening?
These are just concepts, ideas. Some of them map onto real objects. They live on top of and around the things that we can touch, taste, smell, but others less so.
Okay.
Okay. Well, like many people, the Parkarians have a vast mythology that sort of personifies these concepts, not narrativizes them like the Greeks with backstories and personalities, but thinks of them as things with life, in the most basic meaning of the term life, in that they strive to keep living, that they have survival instincts like you and I. Water, the concept, is an eternal titan. We'll never die as long as there are people and animals because we will always thirst. When we thirst, our hearts, our minds, our very pores reach out to this concept. Sure, intellectually, you and I know that every time we put water to lips, it's helped soothe that feeling of thirst, but on a deeper level, it codes into the mechanics of our reasoning that water equals savior. That's why waterfront property is valued so highly. Our eyeballs feel better when they can see that life giver, whether or not it's even potable. It's detached from the act of drinking. It looks like drinking. It looks like the opposite of thirst.
Okay, so how can a god die? If it's trying to survive that means there's the potential for death.
Mark, you are a learning thing.
Thank you.
How can a concept die? By being forgotten, being unneeded, unfelt. These people believe that needs and desires fight wars in the synapses of our brains for supremacy. They develop attributes, strategies for staying in our minds to stay alive. They are parasites that bounce between minds through speech, communication. But some get killed off, murdered by slyer, truer, more modern thoughts.
Like the horse and the buggy.
Jesus Christ, no.
We don't use those.
The fact that you just said horse and buggy proves it occupies a place in your mind. It's a symbol of obsolescence. Obsolescence, the concept, still rides a horse and buggy in your head.
Yeah.
But these people want so badly not to be a slave to the new concepts. They believe that there is power in the old, even if it's just to keep the new in check.
Conservatism.
True conservatism.
Mm-hmm.
Not conservatism that pines for yesteryear's principles out of fear of the new, a conservatism of the collective soul, thirsting for that which is forgotten, almost beyond saving.
So what do they do?
They pray, they meditate, They do something which feels ritualistic but has no real corollary with organized religion. Trying to feel, try to reach out, to breathe life into that which we might have collectively forgotten. They know it's foolhardy. It's an impossible task to feel what our minds are no longer set up to feel, but they reach for it as a kind of nirvana, hoping to hit a spark of it, hoping to nurse that spark and bring it back to the greater population.
Like a double elimination tournament.
Excuse me?
Double elimination. When you lose a game and you get knocked into a totally different bracket. If you win enough games in like conceptual hell, you get another shot at the big leagues.
Sharon takes a long drink.
Sure.
So how do you kill a god?
By making a new one. Only a new god can kill an old one.
Well, okay, so how do you make a god?
Lie.
Lie?
Lie. Tell a story. Sell a fiction. The only way to get people to consider something new is to lie to them. Tell them an untruth that cuts to the center of their worldview. Once you've broken them open, then you can implant something new.
That doesn't sound like it would work.
Take the Parkarians, for example.
Okay.
I made them up.
What?
I made them up. Just now. Utter bullshit.
That sounds really not okay.
Sure. But you believed me more, didn't you? Like I knew something truer than your own thoughts?
Yeah, but...
I'm a woman, Mark. I'm a short woman. I couldn't even reach the glass ceiling with a step stool. For centuries, men have been giving a blank slate to describe reality, to define the rules. They've had generations to carve their thoughts into the fabric of our minds, and I feel them, Mark. Every day. I feel their handiwork. Alien thoughts that consume me, that do not serve me, they serve them. But they're here. You know how I combat them?
Lie?
Yes, Mark. I lie. I make sure to lie early and often. To myself, to others. I make for myself a comfortable cocoon of quasi-truth, and I sit in it. And there, I create. That's where I live, Mark. That's where my power is. I see beyond you, Jason, Paul, all of them, because I am not invested in your collective fantasy. I have my own brewing. And in my own corner, I have the power to break through and make mine dominate, because I am not beholden to your social rules. I'm not scared of what I would do if the guardrails to our polite little office fell out. I'm the one knocking them down.
Sharon drinks deeply from her glass.
Another one.
Oh, I thought just two.
I lied, Mark. I like you. You are an excellent rubber duck. Possibly even a friend.
That's nice.
Mark stands up. He thinks.
Would you take me with you?
Where?
Wherever you're going?
I would certainly use you, yes.
Really?
Sure. As long as you were useful.
Thank you. So, which god are we going to kill?
That was a metaphor, Mark.
I know, but I'm invested now.
There isn't an actual god.
I know, just lie to me.
As many as we can.
End of scene.
Oh man, I am laughing out loud. LOL. Very funny, very good. Bravo, actors, bringing it to life. So many moments, so little time. Who would like to be eviscerated by Sharon? I would. Yeah. And you got to hand it to Mark, man. He hangs in there. He hangs in there for the duration, and he's really trying to follow. And not superficially. I mean, you got to give him credit. Hangs in there right to the end. So anybody,
Mark was the sweetest little himbo.
oh my God, yes. Oh,
Oh
absolutely.
man, by a
Popcorn
thread, man.
moments.
He hangs in there by a thread, man.
But he doesn't quit. This reminds me very little of a scene at a bar that I once had. I wondered if they were playing loud disco music, if you could have the scene. No, just kidding. You could not. It would have to be sort of like lighter jazz music, I guess. Popcorn moments, things that stood out for you, lines, moments.
There were so many.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys could hear me, but I was really trying hard. And at one point I did have to mute myself, but I just found myself bursting out laughing at moments. So funny. I'd have to go back through the script to actually name particular moments. And I can do that on my feedback for you. But off the top of my head, I just know that there were too many to enumerate right now.
Are the Parkarians the Kardashians? Was that? Sorry, John. I had to ask. Doesn't matter. It doesn't. Yeah, right. Exactly. Sure. The God moment. Anybody? Just lie. Oh man, I got like conservatism. I got the whole who thing. Just lie. It. Wow, so many levels. Anybody else? Come on, Miley.
Love the rubber duck, and I love the callback to the rubber duck again. It was so great. I really didn't know where you were going at the start of that monologue, and when you got to the talking to it slowly, it was just great that you could even hear her mirroring it as she's talking to him. It was very fun.
Well, just bringing back the whole thing at the end too, with it's a metaphor.
Yeah, I know.
Made it explicitly clear that I don't get those.
Very literate, very articulate script, John. I am a woman. I am a short woman. Okay, wow. So other moments that stood out for people, Laura?
I thought it was interesting that while she's waiting for her drink, she calls her sister in the last hours of her birthday, and there's a time exchange. So obviously the sister's probably asleep or has passed out. And I just thought it was interesting that she says happy birthday, and she calls attention to the time change. And then she says my birthday's next month.
Right.
I just wasn't sure where that was going or why she needed to mention that. So that was a moment for me that was, I just, it seemed to be incongruent with the character that was playing the ruthless kind of a slightly mean character that was ongoing for the rest of the piece.
Yeah, how about that moment with a phone call? Any other comments on that? I had a similar feeling, Laura. Yeah. Anybody about the phone call? Yeah, Miley.
I actually liked it, and because it gave me a little bit more of her humanity, and also some people, like, depending on who you're talking to, it also made me wonder what her sister's like, because this person who was so commanding and so confident, then talking to her sister and just kind of like parsing and being very specific, trying to not get in trouble. It made me question what her family's like, what her sister's like. And I just honestly thought it was a nice break, like a tiny vulnerable moment for this character who was otherwise just pretty steadfast.
Agreed. Yeah. And he wasn't there. He was at the bar, so
Right.
she had that,
Right.
that
Exactly. You have to keep it
private
up.
moment. Very good. Anybody else? Anybody like to comment on something that they would like to ask John about? Yeah, Laura.
Well, I just felt that Mark's character is so interesting and so inquisitive and so naive, but in an intelligent way. And I really enjoyed the performance, by the way, Andrew. But I just felt that he was there as a kind of he wasn't fully fleshed out. He was just there as a sounding board for the other character. So to me, it felt like very much monologue like through most of the piece because of that. I'd be interested to see some conflict between the two, perhaps some opposition to some of the things that she has to say. And he can just, he can say with all the naivete of what he knows so far in his life. I think that it would have made it more interesting to see them debate and perhaps get into an argument at some point or some point of disagreement, because otherwise it feels like she's piling onto him her wisdom and the things that she's learned in life and what he should know. It just felt like there was a little bit of an imbalance that way.
He was the rubber duck throughout.
Well, yes, and it's been set up that way. We understand that, but it's just tough to see that one-sided thing through the whole thing. Yes, he's the rubber duck, but even the rubber duck can duck under and come back up again.
Can quack, right? Exactly. Good point. Okay, anybody else feel that way? That's an interesting point. That you felt that maybe Mark was so much under her thumb, sung by the Rolling Stones, that he didn't have a chance. He was so invested in learning that he wasn't as expressive of his own points of view as he might have been at times, which might have created more of a conflict, deeper than a dismissiveness by Sharon, more of a, wow, he's got more, and that would be a playwright question as to how you want to develop that character, or no, that's how I want Mark to be, or I don't know. So not to rewrite that, but yeah, Evan.
I kind of liked it. Well, basically because I commiserated with Mark with a C. I was like, I kind of felt a little bit like him. I was like, what is she going on about? I don't get it. What's the metaphor? And so I felt for him, and I didn't feel there was, as written right now, there was an opportunity for him to interject or object, because the character of Sharon, she is so strong at this point, and she's so, convicted of what she believes, and she really does steamroll over him.
Yeah.
In this aspect, it may be nice to see the other side of the coin, where Sharon is so cerebral and Mark is so, for lack of a better word, visceral. Sharon keeps bringing up, oh, is this a date? Is this about sex? Is this it? And maybe that's her Achilles heel.
Wow.
Maybe she wants to, maybe Mark has a chance to express his opinions and his beliefs concerning those things and teach her about that. That's kind of what I was getting from it. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I got.
Right. Oh, very good. Yeah. Each of these characters monologizes, speaks for a period of time. And did that pose a problem for anyone? I thought they were earned, knowing who these characters are. Did anybody feel that there were? Yeah, James.
Well, I'm going to go kind of add on to what Laura already said. What helped me, even though there were monologues, both of the actors in this piece, they seemed, like I said in the chat, they had a good chemistry. They seemed rehearsed. It didn't seem like it was a reading to me. It seemed like they had fleshed out their characters a little bit, or at least worked together. I'm not sure. So even though it was monologue-y, I never felt like I was being monologued to. I felt like they were the characters talking, and I'm pretty impressed from actor to actor to both of these actors, both Jennifer and
Andrew.
Sorry, I was like that whole thing, but I was impressed by that, because even when in the piece I was in, I felt like I was still an actor kind of reading, and I did not get that from either one of you. I felt like your characters were characters, and so I never felt like I was being monologued to. That's just my opinion, but that's how I feel.
And each of them was invested in listening to the other. At one point, the Mark character catches himself listening. I'm sorry, he gets a look from her. It's like, sorry, I'm listening. I have to say, I loved Sharon's monologue about the water. There was something about that, even looking at the water, not potable water, but looking at the ocean, and you can't drink it, but it still quenches a thirst. There was a wonderful metaphor in that.
I love
John,
that was a popcorn moment for me.
that was really lovely. Yeah, there were many of them. But all right, anybody else have anything they would like to
You
contribute?
guys got
Add?
it.
Miley?
No, you covered it.
No. Okay, well, the good news is it's only 8:40 and we've done all three pieces. So,
Yeah.
wow, that's really great. Now, does anybody know how to do the photo thing? I haven't learned the photo thing yet. Miley, do you know how to do it, or Jennifer? You know how to do it? To take a picture?
Miley, you're on mute.
Yeah, let's both take one just in case one's bad.
Great.
And then we'll share.
Great.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Ready?
All right, wait. Smile.
Did we do it?
Got it?
Okay.
I got mine.
I got mine.
Very good. You got yours? Hang
Fabulous.
on. I'm going to take us off. Stop being
Oh, just real quickly, real quickly before we go,
Oh,
just
yeah.
a couple more housekeeping items.
Please do, Jennifer.
Once again, this has been New Ambassadors Theater Company. We do these twice a month. If you'd like to be involved, especially to the people here in the room right now, if you'd like to be involved as a actor or as a writer, those links to sign up are now live. So please check them out. They'll be in the chat. YouTube, they'll be in the link will be in the chat, and there's links in the description as well for Blurring Boundaries, our festival, which is streaming for one more week, as well as any links to our what's it called? Newsletter, our newsletter, which goes out and will let you know of any updates coming up in the future. So we hope you sign up, and we hope that you keep in touch. And that's it.
Absolutely. Watch Blurring Boundaries.
And eventually we will be back in the theater with live audiences. Thank you very much for listening.
Indeed.
We are staying creative in the meantime. I don't think we have the doodle for the next lab just yet, unless it was just posted. I was looking, it's not on Facebook yet, but for everyone who's watching on YouTube, I will put it, if you want to catch YouTube later, I'll put it in the comments as soon as we have it. And I'll make sure David knows that we need to send it to everyone in an email for everyone who is here tonight on Zoom who's interested in participating. Oh, Ben has it. Never mind.
Got it.
We got it.
Hey, Ben.
We got it.
Also live.
Right.
Excellent. Thank you, Ben.
Oh, good.
Thank you, Mally, on YouTube. And thank you, actors, directors, writers, all for a very good evening. I thought we had three very different pieces, and they were extremely interesting and well done, presented, and I thought the comments that you all made were cogent and helpful. So I hope the writers felt that as well. So I guess without further ado, please hang around, but let's say goodbye to our live YouTube audience.